Welcome back to our platform. I have noticed that some of my followers do not actually know the difference between a work permit, a work contract, and a work visa. Some don't even know what a permit is, what permanent residency is. So I have noticed this and I've decided to make this video and give Finland as reference. Now, before I even talk about the difference between A permit and B residence permit types in Finland, and I will also tell you that I will also be talking based on permanent residency, right? But before we talk about this, let me clear something here so that you can actually always remember whenever you want to or you are doing your study abroad option. Now, I would like to say that in the case of other countries, visa is not a permit. Sometimes when you get a visa, go into that country, you are going to get a permit. For example, a student visa is not a student permit. When you go into a country, they will give you a permit from there. Or sometimes when you go into the country, you are going to register in school, then you take a document from the school and go do your student permit. Sometimes it's usually called a temporary residence permit. Now, also understand that a work permit is not a work visa. All right, but sometimes you need an employment. Some people still don't even understand what an employment contract is, but I have already specified the differences to you. Remember, a residence permit is also not a permanent residency permit. Now let's go back to Finland. Always type these differences on Google to actually know what you are saying. I want to give you the differences between an A permit and a B permit, and also the difference between citizenship and permanent residency. Residency means that permanent residency means that you can now live in that country permanently. But before you reach the permanent residency status, you need to have lived in that country for a particular time to get permanent residency. Some countries you can live in that country and go directly to apply for citizenship, like in the case of the Netherlands. But in other countries, you must go through permanent residency, like Canada, before citizenship. So that is something you should put into consideration. Now, A permit, we are going to be talking about two types. But the first one I want to talk about is A permit. If you are moving to Finland, you have the possibility to get an A permit or B permit, depending on why you are moving to Finland. If you are going to be staying in Finland for more than 3 months, which is more than 90 days, you will need a residence permit. Now, it depends on which type. As a worker going to Finland, you will need an A permit, and this A permit would usually be given to you for a period of 1 year, right? Now, this means that after it expires, you can renew it. So it doesn't mean that if you get it for 1 year, it means after 1 year you are going to exit Finland. No, that is not how it is. Then also remember, this is for workers. If you are going to Finland as via family reunion, or you are going to Finland as a tourist, or let's just say you want to seek asylum, right, in Finland, because you cannot get a permit from outside with a tourist visa. You must go in first and you want to seek asylum before your asylum status will be granted and your permit will be changed to an A permit. Now, if you are going for family reunion, asylum, okay, you are equally going to get an A permit, and is also for 1 year and can be renewed. But the difference now, also students also will also get an A permit. Do not forget. But the difference now between you as a student and somebody who moved to Finland via maybe asylum and family reunion is that this person who moved through family reunion has some advantages, but you as a student, you have to pay tuition fee, you have to do health insurance and so many things. So that's the difference between the two of you, okay? But you should always understand that you will get an A permit. When you study in Finland, for maybe when you go in, sometimes when you want to apply for a visa, not a visa, for Finland is a residence permit, but some people will get visas to other countries. When you have a program for 2 years, okay, you will usually get an A permit for 2 years. And when you finish the program, you will get an extra 1 year to look for a job. All right. When you get a 4 years program to study in Finland, you will usually get a 4 years residence permit. And when you finish these 4 years, sometimes it can be renewed. Okay, it depends on how many years you want to study. But after these 4 years, it's possible to go directly to apply for permanent residency. I hope you understand, because you've lived in the country for 4 years. That is the standard. There are laws governing every country, so that is what you should know. And after 2 years or maybe 4 years, you can, like I said, you can get a permit. But remember, when you are getting this permanent residency, you need to have secured a job. They cannot be giving you the permit whereas you have not secured a job. Let's assume that you study in Finland for 4 years, and after you graduate, they will now give you, maybe you are now looking for a job, right? They will give you some time to look for a job. In case you find a job, when those people are doing your job contracts, they will now do you permanent residency. I hope you understand. That is when you find a job. But if you do not find a job, it is going to be difficult. You have 1 year to search for a job. If you still don't find a job, you still have another grace period of 1 year to also find a job. But if you still do not find this job, it is also possible to renew. Finland is not that difficult in that, but just make sure you are legal and know what you are doing, and also read the Finnish immigration side or migration side, because this way it's going to make you up to date. This is for people with A permits. Now, when it comes to the B permit people, there are so many factors, and I will be giving them for you to grab a B permit to move to Finland. But before we talk about the B permits, guys, I would like you to remember that there is a joint application, admissions, that is going to commence around August 18 to like September, the middle of September. So please check the Finnish immigration website, not the Finnish immigration website, but the study website, which is studyinfo.fi. Okay, and put an eye on that application. And if you haven't watched the video I did about that particular application, check this channel, either the videos below this one or the videos above this one to watch. The B permit is usually called the temporal residence permit, and this particular permit is usually given to people. Most of the people that get this permit are those who are going to study in vocational school like Rivera College, Vamia College, and all the rest. And also they usually get this permit for like 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 3 months. It depends on the duration of the program. If you have been following my videos and doing research, you would understand exactly what I mean. But remember, if you study in a vocational school and you intend to actually maybe get an A permit, you can equally switch to an applied science university, get admissions and apply to study there, and that way you can switch from B permit to A permit. But again, remember, A permit and B permit has some differences, and one of the differences is the duration is between the duration of getting permanent residency. Now, the period of getting permanent residency, let's just say if you study in a vocational school for 1 year, and it only counts as 6 months towards your permanent residency. If you study in a vocational school for 2 years, it counts as 1 year towards permanent residency. That's what I mean here, right? It's not the same as people who got A permits, because A permit people, theirs doesn't change. If 1 year is 1 year, 2 years is 2 years. I hope you understand. That's why most of the time people with A permits, when they study for 4 years, they can just go direct after school. If they have a job, they can just apply for permanent residency. But even if you study for 4 years in a vocational school, you still need 2 years, because it will be considered as 2 years for you to apply for permanent residency with a job. I hope you understand. Now, also understand that when you get a job, or when you study when you come into Finland with B permit, right, for you to change it and to an A permit, you need to get a job. If you get a job, you can change it, and after, or you apply to University of Applied Sciences to change the permit, because it can be changed when you are already in Finland. That one is for sure. There is no big deal about that. Now, another problem with the A permit and B permit people is that the A permit people has an advantage. Now, why is the advantage? They can easily go to the registry, all right, or the municipality, and register for whatsoever thing they have. I mean the A permit people. But those with B permits, they cannot, all right, they cannot register like that, except that they actually study for 2 years. because those of you who move to vocational schools, if you didn't know, if you study in a vocational school that is less than 2 years, it would be difficult for you to register for anything using the registry, all right, except you have completed 2 years. And most of the time people will switch again to get an A permit from a B permit. I hope you understand. Did that make sense to you? Now let's move to those people that are moving with family. If you are moving with A permit, okay, as an international student, your wife or your husband and children will equally get A permit. Okay, but note that if you are going for a program which is 4 years, and you are going to get 4 years permit, but your family members will get only 1 year each. Okay, but theirs is renewable. I hope you understand. So this is something you need to understand, because the fact that you are getting 4 years does not mean that they are also getting 4 years. No, it doesn't work that way. They can always renew their own. So for students who studied for 1 year, when you study for 1 year, right, if you are going with family, if your program is 1 year, you have to finish the program first, then you can renew it again. It doesn't matter. Even if you study for a one year program, you can always renew again. And when you are renewing, they will give you direct 4 years. So that's something you need to know. But again, it's always advantage to those who are going for direct 4 years, so that they can actually just finish and get their permanent residency done. And now, for you to get permanent residency in Finland, those with A permits, you need to finish the program. After 4 years, you apply for permanent residency, right? That is the first step. But now, for you to get citizenship, you need to also study the Finnish language, pass the Finnish language. Then when you finish the school, of course, before you even study the Finnish language, you should put into consideration that you have a job and also a good track record. If you've gone to prison before, that is a very big problem for you. So if you have a good track record, you write the Finnish test or exam, then you can go ahead and apply for citizenship with A permit. Okay, so you need to put this into consideration, or else you will need to transition for a very long time with a B permit to get it. So for your own sake, to get citizenship faster, when you study in a vocational school, make sure you switch immediately to another program, or you try to find a job as fast as possible. This is the advantage you have before you, if you really want to succeed in Finland with permanent residency and citizenship. I hope this helps you. Till we meet again, bye bye for now.